Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to your New York Islanders franchise mode here in NHL 25. So in last episode, if you did not catch it, we took on the New York Rangers in the second round of the playoffs, and we managed to beat them in quite easy fashion, which was great to see, obviously, because they did have the best player in the league on the roster. They didn't necessarily have as good of depth, but they were still a pretty solid team, and we ended up beating them in 5 games after losing Game 1. Game 1 was not necessarily a great game, it was a 5-2 loss. But then we responded with our good defensive style in those last 4 games and also found our offense in one of those last 2 games. So it was a nice and convincing win, and now we have found ourselves up here in the conference finals for, I think, the 4th consecutive season, if I'm not mistaken, and this is the 4th year in a row we're going to be taking on a Canadian team in that conference finals. This is the second time it's been Toronto. We've also played Ottawa and Montreal in the past as well. But this should be an interesting matchup. Now, Toronto didn't necessarily have it as crazy as a season as some of the other teams we faced, but they are still a pretty good-looking roster, so we can't say that they're definitely going to be an easy threat to beat, but yeah, this is basically what their team looks like. They do have some solid players, especially in this top 6, I would say. The one I would want to look out for is our former player in Phil Michelli, who used to play with us for a little bit. He was a really good goal scorer this season. He had actually over 50 goals this season, which when he was with us, he was a 25 goal scorer, so it's kind of crazy that he's become as good as he has been. Obviously, he's not as good as, say, like Wallace, who was on the Rangers, who used to play with us as well, but it seems like a lot of guys have gone on from our team and had some success in other places, which is also kind of cool to see. But they don't really have the best depth on offense, I would say, this Toronto team. Their defensive core is also not necessarily the strongest, and goaltending, this is probably one of their strongest points, is they do have Prindis, who's an 88, and are also former backup goaltender Hainsey, who's an 83. So should be an interesting matchup. I definitely think we have the better roster on paper, but once again, it literally could come down to anything in this image, and like maybe they simulate a little bit better defensively than us, that type of thing. But if we want to do a comparison so far here in the playoffs, you can see that we're actually the better offensive team, not by much. We're both very good defensive teams at this point, top 3 in the NHL playoffs. We're 6th in the power play. They're not very good on their power plays, so hopefully our penalty kill could do good work against them. And then they have a better penalty kill than we have a penalty kill. So basically, it's going to be, I think it's going to come down to a special teams battle in a way, because the 5-on-5 play might be pretty even for the most part. I think special teams, like if our power play scores goals, we're going to win games. If their penalty kill does good work, then we might lose games. So should be interesting to see who ends up winning the series. I think it definitely could go to distance to 7 games. I definitely think it's going to be tougher than the first few rounds for us, but I'm not too sure on how long it's going to be tough for. So with that said, let's get into the one and only comment we got in last episode, and then we'll make sure we're set up and ready to go for this conference finals. So that comment is from Sound Talk, who says, "This round went a little too well. I expect another letdown in the conference finals." And let's hope not, because we have had conference finals exits the last 3 years, I think it's been. Like, if we go to somebody that's been on the team a while, like, say, Crane, for instance, we should be able to take a look and see how our playoff success has been the last little bit. But you can see, I think it was, 2036. This is the year we lost to the Oilers in the Stanley Cup Finals. Then we had a little bit of a reset here in 2036-37. Then this was a conference finals exit to Toronto, who we're playing right now. This was a conference exit to Montreal, I think. And then this one was to Ottawa. Then this year, we're back in the conference finals again, and we're playing Toronto. So let's hope that we can get back to where we were in 2036, which is the finals, and hopefully we can find ways to win when we get to that finals if we do so. Like right now, I think this might be the best version of our team almost on paper, because we have better fits for lines and all that type of thing. I think it's definitely a little bit more built up, but obviously there's still, like, who knows what could happen with this sim engine and all that. Like, even if you have a good team on paper, you might lose to a bad team. So I want a couple of guys to step up a little bit more so in the series if possible. Guys like Leahy have not been doing too much, and I obviously pay him a good chunk of money to produce on a good level. He had 46 points in the regular season this year after 62 last year, so downfall in the regular season. And his playoff numbers as well have dropped off considerably this year as well. So if he doesn't produce well and we end up getting eliminated, maybe he's one of those type of players that become on the hot seat in the offseason. So we'll see what happens with that. But for right now, obviously, we're probably going to run this exact same lineup setup. And if somebody underperforms or somebody's playing bad defensively, maybe we make some adjustments. But right now I think all our pairings look pretty damn good. So with that said, let's get into this conference finals and see if we can get to the Stanley Cup finals for the first time in quite a while and finally slay that conference finals demons, because it's kind of crazy this team's never won a Stanley Cup at this point. We've had a lot of success in the playoffs before, but we just haven't been able to find a way to win that Stanley Cup. So really hoping that this is the year that we could do it. Alright, so with that said, let's get to game number 1. We have home ice advantage, of course. Let's see if we can get 4 more wins and get ourselves to a Cup Finals against either Chicago or Vegas. If we have to face Chicago, there's a lot of former players, I think, on that roster. Vegas, I don't remember if there's former players or not, but I feel like regardless, there's got to be some former players around the league on some of those type of teams. So with that said, let's get to game 1. And see if we could build off our last 4 games. Because obviously we lost game 1 against the Rangers. And then we lost game 2 against the Habs. So we've lost our games early into series when we've lost them. Later on we've been really, really good. So let's see what happens with game 1 at this series. See if we could get off to a better start than the last few series. So here we go. Game 1 on home ice. First period. 1-1, I'll take it. It's not bad. We are out shooting them 17-4, though, after the first period. God damn it, it's only 1-1, so I don't like that Prindis stopped 16 shots in that first period, because that means he might be locked in the rest of the game, but that's a domination in terms of shot advantage. But Solovyov's allowed 1 goal on 4 shots. I don't know if I'd really put that on him, because obviously if he's only faced 4 shots through 20 minutes, he's probably a little bit, not warmed up enough in a sense, so hopefully he has a good second period, and hopefully we can find ways to score more goals on Prindis, because Prindis could end up being a little bit of an X factor for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So our only goal is Bigris on the board. That's good to see. Bigris has had a pretty solid playoffs up to this point, so nice to see him again on the board. Can we find a way to get that lead back in the second period? Or are we going to get goalied like the first period pretty much? Second period? 2-1 us. Okay, we are out shooting 28-12 now. We only scored late into that second period. It's Bjorkstrand, so we are definitely still outplaying them quite a bit, but we're only up by a goal. So we got to be careful here with these type of games that they don't hang around too much, or else that could be costly on the way. But good to see us with the lead at least going into the final 20 minutes. So let's see if we get insurance marker and lock down game 1. Let's see what happens. Third period underway. Come on, boys. They tie it up, of course they do, because they don't have a lot of shots. Morrison scores on Solovyov. It's a 2-2 game. Can we get that lead back again? Toronto takes the lead on a short-handed goal from Zane Parekh. That's not a good goal to give up in this third period. But we do tie it up. It's Gustafsson, the former Blackhawk, who we brought in. But Michelli, the former Islander, gives the Leafs back the lead. And we lose game 1 in a game we should have probably won. See, that's what I thought was going to happen because we were outshooting them so badly. That sucks. I thought it was going to go to overtime after Gustafsson tied it up. But then Michelli had the score against us. Literally, we outshot them 44-19, but we lose by a goal. So the early on set stuff with our team in series continue. Last round we lost game 1, but then we responded with 5 straight victories. So maybe our team still has it in them to win 4 straight games. I mean, not 5 straight games, but 4 straight games. But we definitely outplayed them. We deserved the win. That one's definitely on Solovyov a little bit, I think. Maybe on the defensive play as well. But Bigris from Leahy. Then we had Bjorkstrand from Cielfido. And then Gustafsson from Leahy and Solovyov. So Leahy picked up a pair of assists, which is good to see. But yeah, that's not necessarily a great third period from our rosters. So especially that we gave up a short-handed goal like that. So we might have to look into some adjustments soon. But I'm not too sure if I should make them after just one game. A bunch of guys were -2 in that game. That all being the second line for the most part. And then from a goaltending perspective, like I said, not a good game from Solovyov. A .789 save percentage. Did pick up an assist, which is nice to see a goalie pick up an assist now and again. But that's definitely a tough game for him, considering Solovyov's had some pretty good numbers in this postseason up to this point. So Michelli gets first start of the game against us. Of course he does. Leahy second start, and Bigris the third star. So, like I said, not a terrible first game, but definitely one we should have scored more goals on and given up less. So, do we want to make already any adjustments going into game 2? I almost feel like going back to Menard a bit, because Menard was pretty good against the Rangers. Like, we did actually give Solovyov some time off a little bit. But I'm not too sure if Solovyov's just all of a sudden going to go back to having good games again. Like, I don't know if it's kind of risky making adjustments after just one game. Like, we only lost by a goal, so Maybe we just want to keep it the same for game 2, and then if we lose this next game, then we make some adjustments. Yeah, I think that might be what I lean towards. I just don't want to fall down 0-2 in this series, but might happen. Because, like, if we look at Solovyov's last few games here, like, he's had some rough games. Like, he had an 872 in game 1 against the Rangers. Then we decided to end up running Menard in for, like, 4 straight games, or 3 straight games. Then he came back in, Solovyov, posted a 975, and in his first game of this series was absolutely tragic. So, maybe if Solovyov doesn't play good in this game, we'll go back to Menard, because Menard was pretty good in most of his games, I would say, against the Rangers, and then he also played good against the Habs a little bit. But yeah, that 895 in that last game of his, we took him out of the lineup because of that. So there's a chance he might get back in for game 3. Depends on how Solovyov plays in this game. And like I said, we might make some more adjustments accordingly. But that's not a great game for us being a good defensive team. So let's hope that we could kind of respond from that a little bit in game 2. And also find our goal scoring. Because like I said, we had a lot of chances last game. But Prindis was very good for the team early on in that one. And that's the reason why the Leafs went on to winning that game. So let's take it to game 2. We still have home ice advantage. Can we win this game and at least have a tie series headed to Toronto? This is usually when the team starts to find itself as game 2 or so. So let's see if that happens here. First period. 1-1 again, okay? I mean, I'll take it. Michelli opens the scoring for them on the power play, so Michelli might be a difference maker in the series, so we really got to find a way to contain him. Like I said, he had a 50-goal season this year, and he used to play with us, so we definitely don't want to see him succeed too much. Mishenko didn't tie it up for us. Shots are only 7-6 after the first period of this game, so we aren't running away with the shots in this one, which is kind of good maybe, because if Prindis had to face a lot of shots in the first period again, he might be warmed up so much that he ends up giving his team the victory. So let's see if we can find a way to get that lead in the second period. Second period? 3-2 Leafs. That's not good. Alanin scores to make it 2-1. Mäkinen ties it up for us on the power play, but Wisniewski gives them back the lead. They have 3 goals on 12 shots. Well, I think we know what we're doing goaltending-wise next game already. Because that's one out of every 4 shots is going in on Solovyov right now. So he's not been very good in this conference finals, which is kind of surprising based on how he played earlier in this playoff run. But not good. We are only trailing by 1, so we can still win this game. But definitely Solovyov is having a tough time here. So let's see if we can find a way to tie this game up in the third period. Maybe give them a taste of their own medicine, because last game they had a really good third period. Let's see if we could have a good third period of our own. See what happens. Third period underway, and they immediately get a goal as soon as I pressed X. Michelli scores again, but we do pull within 1. It's Tatar. Okay, can we tie this game up? Penalty kill. Stop taking penalties, boys. Nicely done. Final 10 minutes, still down by only a goal. Can we find a way to get that 4th goal and tie this game? Get it to overtime. Please, boys. Just give me one more. Give me one more. And the answer is no. So we lose both of our home games by only 1 goal. So Solovyov's definitely to blame on this one again, as 1 of every 5 shots on goal were in the net. So we will definitely be taking him out next game. Unfortunately, I don't like doing it to him, but Menard will come in. And our offense has been okay, but I definitely need to maybe do some other adjustments, I think. But Mishenko from Howden and Korolyuk, Mäkinen from Karainen, and Tatar from Karainen and Mäkinen. So, oh boy, this is not great. I'm not too sure what this team needs to do. What do we need to do? Let's take a look at the plus minuses. Giolfito was -2. Seems like a lot of our top guys are getting minus in the series too. So we're going to definitely make some adjustments and see if it helps us get back in the series, because we need to find ways to win 2 games in Toronto, or else we're going to go down 0-3, which is not a good spot to be in. So let's make some adjustments. This is not obviously how I had drawn up the start of this conference finals. Like, our defensive play has not been as good as it has been. Like I said, we only lost these games by 1 goal, so it's not the worst results in the world, but the goaltending definitely needs to be better. So that's why we're going to be going to Menard for the next game. That's why we brought in Menard too, just in case Solovyov wasn't up to snuff. We also will go with Bjorkstrand on the top line, Ragnarsson back down to the second line. And then from a bottom 6 perspective, is there anything I would change? I mean, I could just put Bigris on the left side and Kazanov on the right side. Doesn't really matter too much on that. In terms of our defensive core, I could readjust some of the defensive pairings maybe. Like go with Holmstrom and Houghton, and I don't want two OFDs together, to be honest. I don't want to put two righties together either. I don't know if I want to split up Carlton and Gustafson. And I think I'll keep the defensive core the same. I think just changing the goaltending might be an okay thing to do, and then changing around the top six a bit. I honestly don't know if there's anything else I would flop around. Giordano's only got 6 points so far. Goddamn, he's been actually pretty bad. He's on 5 assists. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know what we need to change up. I would like to get guys like Mashenko more ice time, because Mashenko's been kind of solid for his ice time, but there's not really a way I can do that without sacrificing ice time on some other guys. So I think we're going to run with this. I could take Carlton out if he's been bad defensively, which he hasn't really been so far. Do I want to scratch Carlton? You know, I'm going to take Carlton out just because I think... How good of a fit is he on this top six? Not really that great of a fit. I think I'm going to take Carlton out for one game. And since Fisher technically is a better fit on that top six, we're going to give Fisher another game and see if that helps us out a bit. Like, if we get to the Stanley Cup Finals, Carlton will come back in for sure, but maybe we just want somebody that fits that top six pairing a little bit better. All right, so a little bit of adjustments on defense, goaltending, and also the offensive core. Let's see if Menard could start willpowering this team back into the series or not. Like, if we could win both these games in Toronto, we're back to square one. But if we lose either of these two games, we have a huge hill to climb, which our team definitely has the skill level to pull that off, but it's also something I don't really want to bank on. So let's get to game 3. We are now in Toronto. Can we find a way to pull within one of the series? Just get one win here, and maybe we can start getting back into it. First period, game 3. 1-0 Leafs. Ugh. Menard allows a goal from Schultz. It's a 13-6 shot advantage for us, so we're outplaying them again in this first period, but it seems like they have the goaltending down, and our offense has also kind of been a little bit more stagnant in the series. So far we aren't playing really to our strengths, which is not ideal. Can we find a way to tie this game up in the second period? Because if we don't, we have 20 minutes potentially where we're going to have to try and come back and maybe reverse sweep the Leafs. I mean, we can reverse sweep them, but who knows if that's actually going to happen or not. 3-2 Leafs is not ideal, but we are still within one, which is good at least. Mäkinen scored to tie the game up. Schoenmakers gave them back the lead. Giordano ties it up, but with 2 seconds left, we give up a big goal going into the third. So I wish we were tied going into the third, but that late goal, that could prove costly. Shots are 23-15 in favor of us. Right now, our goaltending, regardless of which goalie we put in, is not finding itself. So I'm not too happy about that. Could be on the defensive play in front of these goaltenders, but I'm not too sure. But we need to find a way to tie this up in the third and find a way to win this game. Even if it's just by one goal that we win this game, we got to find a way to do it. Let's see what happens. Third period underway. Come on, boys. This is a big period in the series. And they immediately score a goal to make it 4-2. We just cannot find ways to get the allow less than 4 goals against, can we? Power play for us. We do not score on it. Oh, boy. I don't really know what to do. Michelli makes it 5-2. Michelli's just destroying us, which is really unfortunate because he didn't do that type of stuff with us. Ulanov scored late, but a 5-3 loss has us on the brink of elimination. We need to pull off a reverse sweep if we want to find ourselves in the Cup Finals. We might literally lose in the Conference Finals for the 4th consecutive year. Like, I don't really know what this team needs in terms of adjustments. God damn, man. We made some trades in the offseason to help out with things, and it has been the exact same result, it seems like. Mäkinen from Gustafson and Crane, Giordano from Ragnarsson and Cialfito, and we had Ulanov from Korliuk and Mashenko. But we need to find a way to win 4 straight games, which means we need to put our best roster together as much as possible. So I don't really know what we will do in terms of adjustments, but we're going to definitely go back to Solovyov in net, just because Solovyov's technically the higher-end goaltender. Aside from that, I'm not too sure what adjustments we're going to make on the offensive side of things. Like, we're scoring 3 goals a game, which is not bad, but we're giving up 4.5 to 5 goals against per game, which is uncharacteristic of us from the first 2 rounds. So let's go with, I mean, Mäkinen's been good so far. Bjorkstrand's also been pretty good. Let's go with Bjorkstrand as the second line center instead. We'll get Giordano on that top line with Crane and Mäkinen to try to get him going a little bit. We're going to swap Ragnarsson and Cialfito on their wings just for something small. Actually, how has Ragnarsson been? Only 1 goal. He's still been really abysmal in playoffs in his career. Like, he had a career year this year, but his playoff numbers just, I don't know. Last year they were okay, but 1 goal only in 14 games after a 30-goal season. I'm going to move Biggerson to the top 6 because Ragnarsson has not been that type of guy right now for no reason. So we'll do something like that. Aside from that, defensively, I'm going to split up Tatar and Houtanen. We are going to go with Schaefer and Houtanen. And we're going to go with Tatar and Fisher. We're going to go Holmstrom and Gustafsson. I honestly don't even know at this point. And goalies, we're going to go back to Solovyov. But we need to pull off a reverse sweep. Actually, I'm going to get Carlson back in instead of Fisher. Carlson back in instead of Fisher. How was Fisher last game, actually, out of curiosity? He was actually a +1 in that game. Okay. So maybe I'll keep him in then for now. Even though I do like Carlson better. I don't know. We need to find a way to get this team to simulate better. Just any types of adjustments as much as possible here. Oh, man. This is unfortunate because this team is so good on paper. And if we literally lose another conference finals, like, what do we need to do to take this team to the next level? Like, I know we don't have that superstar player that's getting over 100 points a season, but we don't really need something like that, I don't think. Do you have anybody in the AHL I could call up? Not really. Some of these guys are close, like Savage, but he's a grinder. So some of these guys will be ready next year. Komatov will probably be ready next year. He's actually listed now as a backup goalie, but I don't think I want to call him up, even though I'm not getting goalie results right now. So we got to hope that this team is good enough. We got to hope that this team is good enough. Find a way to win 4 straight games. It's doable. We've won 4 straight games against the Rangers after losing game 1. I'm not saying that our team's going to lose for sure, but it's very likely that our team's going to be packing its bag in the conference finals unless we find ourselves defensively and we start scoring more goals. So let's do a real-time simulation here for Game 4 and see if we could force it to a Game 5. Just take it 1 game at a time. But this has been kind of a disappointing result from this team again. Like I said, we should at least be getting to a finals and losing. If we can't get to a finals, then that's a very big question mark. But let's go real-time simulation. Like I said, take it 1 game at a time. But we definitely need to contain Michelli better because he's been a difference maker in the series for them. Meanwhile, with us, he was not that type of guy. Like, he was solid, but he wasn't that type of guy, at least not that I've seen yet. We do open the scoring here in Game 4 as Bigger scores, so good to see Bigger's back on the board again. But Alainen answers right back. It seems like they always have an answer to our goals, but we answer literally back 20 seconds later, or just under 20 seconds later. Mäkinen restores that lead. It's going to be 2-1 for us after the first, with the shots 15-10. So, solid first period, but all these games so far in the series have been pretty close. So, I feel like we could definitely be on the other side of this, but so far we haven't been. So, let's see what happens in the second period, see if we could get some insurance. Because obviously we know that they still have more goal scoring in them. So just got to find a way to get 3 and maybe 4 goals, and then we could be safe. Schaefer makes it 3-1. That's a good one. Puts us up by a pair of goals. Maybe we'll start to come back for our team. If we come back from 3-0 and get to the Stanley Cup Finals, I think we're going to win the Stanley Cup this year. But I honestly don't know if that's going to be the case or not. So 3-1 going into the third. Shots are 27-16 in favor of us. We're a period away from staying alive for another day. Let's just keep it up and get it forced to a next game. Come on, boys. You got this. Take it 1 period at a time, 1 game at a time. Whatever it takes just to get us these wins if possible. Power play for us. It's a long power play. And we do not score, but it takes a lot of time off the clock, which is good. Final few minutes. Penalty kill. And we score a shorthanded goal late in the game. Giordano. I don't know if that was an empty netter. It says it was on the goalie, so I guess not. But we end up winning 4-1 in a big game, number 4. So we have stayed alive. Maybe our team will be able to come back from the series now, potentially. I mean, there's still a lot of series left to go, potentially, too. But that's back to basically where our team was playing last round. Good offense, good defense. And who knows, maybe we can find ways to build off some momentum after this win. So Biggers from Houtanen and Bjorkstrand, Mäkinen from Crane and Giordano. Schaefer's first of the playoffs from Mäkinen and Houtanen, and Giordano from Tatar. 3 stars of that game. Solovyov had a great game. Giordano second star. Mäkinen the third star. All right. Well, we are back in the series. We're only down 3-1 now, so we need to find a way to win this next game. And if we find a way to win this next game on our home ice, maybe we get it to a game 6, or we would get it to a game 6. Who knows? Maybe we could pull off another road loss as well. Like, if we could get it back to a game 7 would be back on our home ice. So we just got to take it one game at a time, not look too far ahead, not look too far back. Vegas is up 3-1 on Chicago right now, too, which is kind of surprising because I thought Chicago was a lot better than Vegas, but I guess not. Okay, we got to keep the team the same after a win like that. It's kind of risky keeping the team like that as well, though, because we might end up losing, too. But let's see if we could build off that last win and get another win here, because we're now back in front of our home fans. Our home fans maybe can propel us to win here, so... Another real-time simulation. Can we force a game 6? Can we force a game 6? Let's take one period at a time. Find a way to open the scoring potentially. Come on, boys. I believe in you. I know you have this skill level on your team to score goals. Atlantin makes it 1-0 Leafs. Not great. Considering last game we opened the scoring. Penalty kill here in the first. We killed that off. Power play for us. We do not score. A lot of power plays in that first period, and we are going to be trailing after the first period 1-0. So not a terrible first period, but I would have liked to have scored at least a goal. Shots are 13-11 in favor of them, so even in shots, pretty even in goals. We need to find a way to get that next one. If we give up that next one, that's going to be kind of hard for us. So got to find a way to get this game tied up if possible. Who wants to be that guy? Second period. Come on, boys, please. Give me that tying goal. Nikitin makes it 2-0 Leafs. That's not good. We need to get that next one for sure. Then penalty kill here in the second. This is a massive penalty kill, and we killed it off. Still have time to get back into this game if somebody wants to score on our side. And there was somebody. Kazanov makes it a 1-goal game. Can we find a way to tie this up? Can we tie this up? The answer is yes, we can. Ragnarsson, who only had 1 goal going into this game, he's been pretty quiet. Makes it a 2-2 game going into third with the shots dead even as well. Maybe we're coming back from a 2-0 game here. So we go into the third period deadlocked at 2. Shots are exactly even. If we could find a way to get that next goal, maybe we could find a way to get to a game 6. We just need to find a ways to get more goals on Prindis. And we need Solovyov to be the Solovyov he was last round and all that in first round. So... let's see what happens. Third period. Can we find a way to win this third period and come back from a 2-0 deficit? Come on, boys. Let's get that next one. This is nerve-wracking as hell. Power play for us. It's a 4-on-3. We do not score on it. Damn. Into the final 10 minutes of this period. Mäkinen makes it 3-2 us. That's a big goal for Mäkinen in the top line. It makes it a 1-goal game. Giordano gets some insurance 5 minutes later. It's a 2-goal advantage. Your New York Islanders are going to force a game 6 back in Toronto where we could potentially tie the series up. I almost feel like I smell a reverse sweep, but I don't know if I smell it just yet. I don't know. So Kazanov from Leahy, Ragnarsson from Kazanov and Koryuk, Mäkinen from Giordano and Crane, and Giordano from Crane and Mäkinen. So when we went down 2-0, I was literally saying in my head, we're not going to come back. But the amount of skill level on this team, we were able to find a way to get back into the game, and we played good defensively the rest of the way. That's a huge game. +3 from Holmstrom, let's go. And 9.29 from Solovyov. So we have forced a game 6 after we were down 3-0. So we are on a good trajectory right now. Still a lot of work to go, though. Mäkinen, Giordano, and Kazanov are the 3 stars, all with 2 points. All right. So last game was a 4-1 win. This game was a 4-2 win. Let's see if we could force to do a game 7. This is the biggest game of it, though. Winning another one in Toronto is going to be tough. But if we find a way to do so, we maybe go to a game 7 back on home ice, which would be pretty big. So far, Chicago looks like they might be coming back from reverse sweep, too, if that stays true. So I don't feel like I want to make any adjustments because our team's been playing good the last few games. But I'm also worried if I don't make any adjustments, our team's not going to do good. So I'm kind of like... do I make any more adjustments? Do I leave the team the same since we've won 2 in a row? I think I'm going to keep the team the same at this point. Game 7, I mean, if we get there, maybe I make some adjustments as well. I'm not too sure, but Oh, come on. This is so nerve-wracking because this team I know has it in them to come back from a 3-0 deficit. But if we obviously lose this game, our season's done again in a bad state. So this is going to be tough to win again in Toronto. We've won one of 3 meetings in Toronto. 1 of 2 meetings in Toronto so far. Do we have it in us to win another? Let's get into it. I'm contemplating making changes, but I don't think making changes at this point is a good idea. Let's see, can we force Game 7 back on home ice? Let's see what happens. Take it one period at a time, boys. Find our offense early, maybe, and maybe we could find a way to tie this game up, or the series up, I should say. Come on, boys. They open the scoring again. Show and Mockers. Do we have an answer to that? No, we don't yet. Penalty kill. Nicely done, guys. Power play again. A lot of power plays in this first period again, just like last game. So I don't know what with the refs, but a lot of penalties in this first period. And Smith makes it 2-0. Well, that's not a good first period. That's not a good first period. Or being outshot 14-5. That's why I was thinking of making some adjustments, but I didn't. Now, it could be one of those periods, though, where you down 2-0 after 1, and then you respond with 2 goals in the second period. But we are being outplayed quite a bit right now at this point. So I kind of wish I made some adjustments, but would have it helped? I don't know. We need a big second period here. We cannot be allowing any more goals, and we need to find a way to get goals of our own. More shots on goal if possible as well. Let's see if our team can crawl back into this game at all. Let's see what happens second period. They immediately get 3-0. That's probably it, unless we have a comeback in us. 2 quick goals. Okay, maybe not. Oh, that's the quickest 3 goals I've seen to start a period. Goddamn. They made a 3-0, and Cialfito and Giordano answered right back. 2 goals less than a minute apart. And it's a 1-goal game. Penalty kill late here in this second period. And we kill it off. Okay. Well, that was a crazy stretch. A really crazy stretch. We're being outshot 26-16. All 3 of those goals that happened in that period were all within a span of like less than 2 minutes. 1937, 1837, and 1748. We are only a goal away from potentially tying this up. I feel like I almost want to watch this third period, but at the same time, I don't think it's a good idea. So, can we find a way to tie this game up in the third? If we find a way to tie this up, we could potentially tie the series up. This team has it in them. Well, I mean, we didn't score 2 quick goals to lose this game, right, guys? We didn't do that. We're going to find a way to do this. Solovyov's keeping us in this game. Let's see if we could find a way to tie this one up here early in the third. Real-time simulation. Oh, man, I don't even want to press X, but let's get it done. Let's get it done with. Third period is underway. Power play immediately for us. We do not score. Penalty kill. Don't take penalties, boys. You got to be disciplined. We tie it up. Ragnarsson makes it a 3-3 game, as Ragnarsson has goals in back-to-back games. Absolutely huge goal for Ragnarsson at this point in the game. Final few minutes here of the third period. No, they got back the lead. We got to jump in here and hope that we could change things. They got back the lead, and of course, again, it was Michelli. Friggin' Michelli. Why didn't we hold on to him? I don't know who told me to let go of him, but I'm pointing at you. No, I'm joking. I think it was my own decision on that one, but my God, that guy's been too good. We got to find a way to win here. Let's make sure we have sound off and all that, but I don't really like jumping into games that I might get eliminated in, but we have to probably jump in here and see if our team can force it to get to overtime and find a way to win this, because if we lose this game, our series is done, our season's done. And we have another conference finals exit to a Canadian team if that's the case. So let's hop on in and see if this team can find a way to tie this one up. We have the skill level to tie it up, but will we be able to? We have the top line out there, Mackinnon, Giordano, and Crane. 3:26 left on the clock, only down by a goal. Here is Altonen. Altonen carries it in. Nice defensive play by our boys. Schaefer throws it up to Mackinnon. Here is Mackinnon. Mackinnon over to Giordano. He scores! That's why we jump right back in. What a crazy game. Giordano's second goal of the night. And that's why I jumped in, because maybe it changes things. We might honestly be going to overtime, which means this episode could end up being very long. But who knows if it will be or not. But what a pass from Mackinnon. Got Ekman looking. Finds the guy in the slot, as Altonen could not get back. And a beautiful shot from Giordano has tied this game up. Oh my goodness. This game is crazy. We came back from down 3-0. Or was it 3-0 at one point? Yeah, it was 3-0 at one point. We made it 3-3. They went up 4-3. And now it's 4-4. So, This game has, if we find a way to win this game, who knows what happens Game 7. If we come back all the way to force Game 7 and then losing Game 7, it's going to suck. But this team's at least not going away as easily as it looked. Michelli's jumped up to 5th in points on the Leafs, or in the entire NHL playoffs right now, but he's on the Leafs. We got to watch out for Phil. He's our former top-line guy. Here's Giordano again. Great pass to Crane. He shoots in. Prindis makes a save. He actually threw it out, which I'm kind of surprised on. Thought that guy was going to freeze it. Ekman finds Canone. Canone gets in with it. He shoots, and Solovyov makes a routine glove save with a $1:41 left on the clock. Oh, man, this is stressful. This is stressful. But at least this game is tied now, because if we were still trailing, I'd be like, guys, we need to get some offensive zone time, but here we are. Okay, defensive zone face-off. We have Mäkinen against Canone again. Can Mäkinen win this defensive zone face-off? Yes, he can. Houghton throws it over to Giordano. 2-goal game for Gio. He throws it over to Houghton. Seems like Giordano's been much better since playing on this top line, too. So maybe he needs to be up here. Here's Canone again for the Leafs. Walks in, shoots, and we take a penalty. Schaefer. I don't even know who he tripped, but that's a bad penalty with 54.9 seconds left on the clock. Maybe we made the wrong decision on which defenseman to keep at this point. Because if this costs us the playoffs, I will be kind of pissed off. Is Robinson Schaefer off to the blocks? Let's just see this. Yeah, that's a trip for sure, but you think the refs would at least put away their whistles in the last minute of this type of game, but that's not good. We need to kill off the rest of this period, and we need to kill off some stuff into overtime as well if we get there. Crane is taking the face-off too. That's not necessarily who I'd want to take a face-off, but he does have okay face-off stats, I think, and he wins it. Gustafsson with it. The guy we brought in from Chicago. He'll carry it up and still go with it. Finds it over to Crane. Crane finds Tatar. He finds Kazanov short-handed here in the final minute. Kazanov, front. Tatar can't get the shot through, and now he's got to get back. Schoenmakers gets cut off by Crane. Nicely done. We are literally going for a short-handed goal. That's kind of insane. You think our team would have been a little bit more defensive, but I guess not. Here's Vorobiev, finds it over to Pyatt, over to Schoenmakers, and yikes, that was dangerous. Big save by Solovyov. Here's Tatar, we're going up with it short-handed again still. It is Crane, the captain. Can't get by. Come on, Crane, just force him into his own zone for a while longer. We're into the final 10 seconds. Here's Pyatt. He's got some room. Tatar will take him off the puck. Vorobiev finds Schoenmakers again. Big block by Holmstrom. And we are going to overtime in Game 6. And we have still time left to kill off on the penalty, but if we find a way just to get an OT winner here, we can get to a Game 7, so this is insane, man. Big goal there from Gio, though. Ties it at 4. Oh, man, that was stressful, those big saves by Solovyov, but we head to overtime. Can we find a way to pull off a 1-goal victory here? As Crane is back out there again with Kazanov against Canone in the top power play for the Leafs. Crane wins it. Here's Tatar over to Kazanov, the youngster. Kazanov's making some moves short-handed, can't get by. Here is Ekman over to Michelli. Michelli with it, our former guy. He throws it back to the point, a big slap shot, and a big save there by Solovyov with a little bit of screen in front. Nice save. Nice save indeed. We're into the final 51 seconds of this penalty kill. Oh my goodness. This game is stressful as hell sometimes. Okay, can we win this defensive zone draw again? It's Crane against Canone again. Come on, Crane. You got this, buddy. And he wins it again. Crane's been dominant on the face-off dot, which is great. Here is Kazanov. Kazanov will just dump it in smartly and chase it. Here is Michelli. He gets blown up. Here comes Ekman for the Leafs. Ekman in with it. Nice poke check. Gustafsson finds Crane, and he'll just smartly clear down with 30 seconds to go on this penalty kill. Come on, guys. Just keep up the good work on the penalty kill here. Ekman with the puck. Ekman makes a move. Ekman shoots it off a body, and Crane gets it now, and he'll get it out just before getting bodied. But that puts it down to the final 10 seconds left of this penalty kill. Here is Schoenmakers. Schoenmakers finds Vorobiev. That's a big save there by Solovyov. Vorobiev gets it back here. Schoenmakers again to Wisniewski. We're running around a little bit here. Schoenmakers. Vorobiev. Big block. Look at the team defense. And we get it out. Holy crap, that was nerve-wracking. Gustafsson with it now. Can't get by, and he's bodied off the puck. Here is Vorobiev again with it for the Leafs. Can't get by. Nikitin up to Schoenmakers. Schoenmakers throws it to Nikitin. Nikitin over to Wisniewski, and he's stopped by Solovyov. They're almost getting full pressure. We got to be worried about that. But some great team defense on that last bit of that penalty kill. And some big saves by Solovyov has kept our season alive so far. Whew. Yikes, this is a crazy, crazy game. All right, Bjorkstrand on the draw. He does have quick draw, so maybe that could help him out here as he goes up against Schoenmakers on the face-off dot. Bjorkstrand will win it cleanly again. So we've been doing some good stuff on the face-off dot as Schaefer's back out there again after his penalty earlier. A bad pass by Schaefer. Oh my goodness, Houghton recovers though. Great play by Houghton. Bjorkstrand with it. Can't get by. Come on, guys. So far, we haven't been able to get much offensive chances in this OT because we've been on the PK and all that. Schultz finds it to Altonen. Got to get it away, guys. Get it away. Nice save by Solovyov. They almost have full pressure. We got to be very careful about that, boys. We don't want to be stuck in our own zone here. As Bjorkstrand, I think, will probably be still out there again, so hopefully his quick draw could come into effect here. I think he's been out there for some bad goals before in the past, if I remember right, so let's see if he can win this face-off against Schultz, who's the third-line center for the Leafs, and he does. Schaefer. Robinson Schaefer throws it up to Biggers. Biggers finds Cialfito. Cialfito throws it over. Can't find it. Now he's got a backstop. Rebound is loose there. Oh my goodness, that was a great chance after a bang-bang play. But then we turn it over. Here is Alanin. He's been tough in the series. Alanin with the puck. Why are we both watching Alanin? We leave the front of the net wide open. Solovyov recovered it though. And now the Leafs have full pressure. Schultz shoots it on net, and Solovyov stops him. I don't know why both men converged on that one guy, but they left that guy wide open in the slot. So great active stick by Solovyov, but now they, of course, have full pressure, which is stressful as hell. We got to win these face-offs. Who do we got out there now? It's Mäkinen against Schultz. Mäkinen versus Schultz. So it's our first line versus their third line. Come on, Mäkinen. He wins it nicely. Done, Mäkinen. Tatar. Throws it over to Mäkinen. He finds it up to Fisher. Fisher, who was just put in the lineup. Fisher walks in, shoots it, and that's turned away. Good play by Fisher. That's a nice little rush from the defenseman. I don't mind that play. And he does get back defensively too. Alanin's poke check. Here's Schultz. Schultz shoots. Sits. Stopped by Solovyov. Shots are 40-32 at this point for the Leafs. A lot of shots because of their power play, but still tied at 4. This could end up being a long episode if we force a Game 7, but I think you guys will like the way this episode has been so far. Alright, Mäkinen versus Canone. Come on, Mäkinen. He wins it again. We've been so dominant on these face-offs since we jumped in, which is awesome to see. Mäkinen carries it up. He finds Fisher. Fisher still jumping in offensively. That two-way defenseman can't get by Perek. Perek finds Canone. Fisher looking to get back defensively, and he does. Crane up to Fisher again. Fisher over to Crane. Crane finds Mäkinen. And here's Fisher again. Fisher's been all around the puck so far in this OT, and a great chance for Mäkinen. We almost have full pressure now. If we could get this face-off win, maybe we could start something in terms of offensive chances for us. There's been a little bit more chances for us as of late, so we have our third line out there against their top line. Leahy at the draw. Come on, Leahy. You got this. And he wins it. Here's Schaefer over to Houghton, over to Ragnarsson. We got that pressure, but we can't hold on to the puck long. Ekman with it now for the Leafs. Ekman making some moves, 1-on-2. Finds it to Michelli on the wing, and Solovyov will stop him because he didn't get all of his shot. Holy moly, I didn't expect this game to go as long as it has, but damn. This has been an entertaining OT, to say the least. Leahy on the draw against Schoenmakers. Leahy ties up, and the Leafs won that draw, I think, but we got the puck possession back. Kazanov, the youngster, finds it over to Houghton. Houghton shoots. That's turned away again. Nice chance there. I like that our defenseman can sometimes jump up like in those plays. Kelly with it. Throws it over to Schoenmakers. Schoenmakers. Good poke check there by our boys. Here is Ragnarsson. He's had some big goals these last few games. Here he comes. Finds it over to Leahy, and that's turned away again by Prindis. I like the way we're playing as of these last few shifts. Almost got pressure again. Just got to get some more shots to the net. And like I said, we've been dominant on the face-off dot. It seems like all game, but also since we've jumped in. Bjorkstrand versus Schoenmakers again on the face-off dot, and they finally win a face-off against us. Here is Smith. It's another delayed penalty to us. Oh my goodness. These refs. Smith walks all the way into the net. Can't get by Solovyov. Vorobyev to Smith again. Another big save. Get it away, guys. Get it away. Get it away. Another delayed penalty, huh? There's a good play by Biggers to get over to that. But Bjorkstrand's going to be going to the box for interference. And again, our season relies on our penalty kill. Let's see. I guess it's kind of interference, but it's a bit of a soft call. Right off the face-off, just throwing him down. Oh, god damn it, Bjorkstrand. His playoff beard's quite the beard. Quite the beard. Alright, Giordano on the face-off dot. He's not as good on the face-off dot as some of our other centermen, though. And he ties up. We do not get possession of the puck. Here is Wisniewski. Over to Michelli. Canone. Nikitin over to Ekman. Ekman spins around. Ekman still with it. Shoots it. Blocked by Ragnarsson. God damn. Oh, Ragnarsson's a good PK guy, but yeah, damn. That Ekman guy is very shifty when he has the puck. Here is Michelli. Michelli makes the moves, finds it over to Ekman. Ekman to Canone. Canone shoots. Big save against Solovyov as they almost have full pressure on the power play, which is not something we want to see. Solovyov's definitely been the story here in this overtime on a lot of these saves, but our defensive play has been pretty solid too at times. Alright. Face off, Mäkinen against Schoenmakers. Come on, Mäkinen. He's out there with big risks. Mäkinen wins it. Fisher will clear it and out. Nice. Good job, boys. Schoenmakers throws it to open wing. That's offsides by Vorobyev. And we are still living here. We might end up going to double OT at this rate. It's been a good goaltending duel in this OT at this point in time. Mäkinen against Schoenmakers again. Come on, Mäkinen. Win this draw, buddy. And let's get it down into zone. Schoenmakers wins it. Conklin. Conklin throws it back. Nice hit there, and the puck goes out of the zone again. Our PK has been on point so far. Schoenmakers. Walks in with it, throws it to Zane Perek, over to Pyatt, over to Conklin. He's turned away and tight. That was a big save there by Solovyov. Whew. Solovyov has been looking locked in here in overtime. Nice little hit there. Here comes the Leafs again. It's Vorobyev. Vorobyev finds it to Schoenmakers. Schoenmakers walks in. Nice defensive play by Fisher. A little bit aggressive, but gets it out of the zone. Thought he was going to take a penalty for cross-checking or something. Fisher's got it back, short-handed. Fisher will dump it in. Fisher's been actually pretty surprising to me in this game. I've liked his play. In this overtime, here's Canone. Off a bad line change. Michelli a chance, and Solovyov makes maybe his biggest save of this overtime after looked like an odd man rush was forming. I don't know who made that line change, but that was a good recovery there on defense. Whew. Like, that wasn't as dangerous of a chance as it looked. Like, it was dangerous, but definitely some good hustle by number 26, which I don't even know who that is off the top of my head. Here's Tatar. Tatar can't clear it. And Kazanov recovers, and he will get it out. Nicely done. Here is Ekman again. Ekman can't get by Gustafsson. And we get it out again. Our team's play in this game has been really impressive in this overtime defensively. Like, I don't know why they're playing so good in this overtime, but I really liked our defensive play and our goaltending. Canone comes in. And over to Michelli, and that's another big save by Solovyov. So Solovyov has bailed us out a lot in this OT too, but our commitment on the PK has been good. We kill off another penalty. And we have another big face-off here. Mäkinen will tie up. We get possession of the puck, and the pressure will not matter. Here is Crane, the captain. Crane finds Mäkinen, he shoots, and that one's turned away. Giordano with it now. Tie up in the corner. Here I don't know who that is. Alanin with it now. So they have their third line out there. Crane ties up. A lot of bodies going all over the place. Schultz finds this broken puck, but Giordano recovers it for us. Crane to Mäkinen. He's decked. A lot of bodies all over the place at the moment. Houghton plays good defensively there. Schultz throws it over. It's off of a body. And here's an odd man rush maybe. Mäkinen turns it over though. Oh my goodness, he was gassed. If he wasn't gassed, that would have been nice. Schultz's shot and Solovyov another save. A lot of open ice on that last play. I expected us to get a breakaway and score somehow after that broken play, but Crane might have gotten injured. Crane might have gotten injured, which is not good. Hopefully he's still in the game. Yeah, he got decked. Like, multiple guys got decked on that shift. Hopefully he's still in the game, because if he leaves the game, oh, he's leaving the game. Well, that's not good. That's not good because now we got to find a way to win this game without our captain, and maybe he's not even going to be in next game if we do get to game 7. So that's not good. Crane's been effective in his OT on the face-off dot and all that. Alton into Perek, and that's turned away by Solovyov again. Holy moly, man. This has been probably one of the best overtimes we've watched, I feel like, just in terms of like action, penalty killing. Obviously, that injury, like I said, to Crane really sucks, though. Bjorkstrand wins that nice face-off. Here is Houtinen. Houtinen finds it to Schaefer. Schaefer. All the way up here comes Bigris. Bigris with a move. Lost it. Here is Lee Lop, I think his name was. He dumps it in because he's a fourth-line guy, I think. Chases after the puck. Lop. Out front, Pyatt a shot, and Solovyov another glove save. At least Solovyov's on his game here. Like, he's definitely shown me that he's still a good goaltender at times. Alright, third line against their fourth line. Leahy versus Pyatt. And Pyatt wins it. Kelly over to Nikitin. Nikitin a bomb, and that one's just held out by the glove of Solovyov. Lee Lop a chance, and Solovyov another save, as they do have full pressure with their fourth line out there. Lee Lop has got to be the most meme player ever, though he's wearing number 69 too, so interesting name, wearing a weird number. Leahy at the draw again, and he ties up and wins it. Ragnarsson stuck in his own zone a bit. He should have got that out, but he didn't. Big hit there. I don't know who took that hit, but that almost looked like it could have been a penalty, but no. Kazanov can't get by. Here is Wisniewski to Lop again, as we did get rid of the pressure. Lop gets knocked off it by Tatar. Tatar finds Leahy. We're into the final 13 seconds of this first overtime. We could be here all day, could be here all night. Wisniewski, good poke check by Fisher. Fisher will take it into the boards. Looks like maybe double OT's on the horizon. Oh my goodness. Oh, that big save with less than a second left. I think if that went in, it wouldn't have counted anyways, because I think the period ended before that shot went off. But what a huge save by Solovyov right at the end, as we had to double overtime after 2 big penalty kills. Well, didn't expect it to do a full overtime of that, but let's get to double OT, because this episode is going to start getting longer and longer the more overtimes there is. But since we've killed off 2 big penalties, you'd think our team has some momentum after that. Let's see. And Cano wins the draw. Here is Alton, and Giordano strips it away. But they have possession back of the puck again. Michelli can't get by Bigris. Here is Houtinen. He throws it to an open wing. Makinen finds Schaefer. Schaefer to Bigris, who's now on the top line with Crane's injury. Schaefer out front, a chance for Giordano. It's turned away. Giordano's back on the puck again out front, and he can't get the pass to an open Bigris. Now, Altonen walking in. Altonen, nice play by Houtinen. The 2 Finns going at it. Altonen over to Perek. He shoots. That's turned away by Solovyov again. Loose puck in front. We scramble in front of our own net. Can't get it out. Ekman. Michelli, that shot wide. Oh my god. This is madness, this overtime. Makinen back to Bigris. Bigris with it again. Bigris shoots. He's turned away. Schaefer jumps up. Schaefer out front to Bigris. Bigris to Houtinen. Houtinen finds Makinen, and that's turned away again as we almost have full pressure here. This has been a crazy game. No short of chances. Ekman making some moves. He's dog tired, but he still has some good speed. He shoots, and that's turned away by Solovyov, as the Leafs also have almost full pressure. Oh my goodness. Well, I don't think this is... I think this is probably the most AI versus AI I've watched in a franchise mode before, just based on how long this overtime's been, but crazy game. Fun to watch, though. Maybe I should just do, like, full games or something like that and watch. Leahy on the draw against Schoenmakers. And he wins it. Here is Tatar. Tatar throws it all the way up the wing. Here is Ragnarsson. He'll dump it. Kelly with it for Toronto, throws it all the way up. Here is Smith getting chased by Leahy. Schoenmakers now with it. Schoenmakers in a slot, and he scores. Are you serious, man? All that overtime, all those penalty kills just to lose in Game 6, double OT. We are 1 goal away to force it back to a Game 7, and unfortunately, it is not going to be us going to the Cup Finals again. That's a heartbreaking way to lose, because I thought our team looked really good in that overtime on the PK and all that. Crane's back out there again for the handshake line, even though he got injured in game, which is kind of funny. But God damn it, man. We've lost again in the conference finals. We've literally lost 4 straight years in this conference finals, and we cannot find a way to get back to that cup finals again. That's unfortunate, man. I don't want to see Zane Parekh with that. God damn it. I thought with all those like penalty kills, like I said, we were going to come back. But this is, I think, a little bit of a missed assignment. If you're Leahy chasing down Smith, you should probably... Somebody should be recovering this guy in the slot, which is Schoenmakers. But I feel like that's technically more supposed to be Leahy's man because he's a centerman. He's supposed to cover the other team's centerman. But he leaves him wide open, and Tatar's forced to basically come back to the middle to try and cover him, I guess. Nobody really covers him that well. We have literally 4 guys back. They have 3 people up. Maybe a little bit more hustle from Ragnarsson, but I think this is technically Leahy's fault. Maybe Tatar should have started to cover Schoenmakers because Leahy was on Smith's back, but I think that's the only reason why we lost this, is just a bad misassignment. And then Schoenmakers walks right into the slot with a screen too. And nothing that Solovyov could see in that slot there. Nothing he could see there, so... I think that goal might be on Leahy, potentially. Like I said, I think he should have probably been focused on the centerman instead on this play. And let Tatar just like cream the guy against the boards or something. But he ends up leaving Schoenmakers wide open. Schoenmakers scores. Man, that sucks. So Michelli got 3rd star of the game. He had a goal and assist against us. Michelli was definitely a difference maker for the Leafs. That sucks, though. We literally lost 3 games by only a goal, too. Giordano's 2nd star, 2 goals, 5 hits. God damn, man. And who was the 1st star? Probably Schoenmakers? I'm not even too sure. And the answer is, yes, Schoenmakers. 2 goals, 1 assist, 7 hits. God damn, man. That's unfortunate. We were down 3-0. Came back with 3 unanswered goals. Sealfido from Schaefer and Bjorkstrand. Giordano from Mackin and Tatar. Ragnarsson from Leahy and Kazanov. And then they took the lead late. We answered right back. Mackinnon from Schaefer. Giordano from Mackinnon and Schaefer, I should say. And then Schoenmakers ends the series. God damn, man. Like I said, all those big penalty kills just to lose. Like, I thought that was a pretty good showing of what our team is like in the playoffs, but we did not get it to Game 7. I thought we were going to get it to Game 7, and then Crane also got injured in that game too, so that also played a little bit of a factor, unfortunately. But, damn. Chicago came back from a 3-0 deficit, I think, so they might be going to the finals after all. Damn, man. Guess we have a lot of former players, I think, on the Blackhawks too. Let's take a look at our player stats after that round, and then we'll see who ends up winning the cup and finalizing the rest of the season. But this franchise mode is so fun, but it's also kind of disappointing because this team should have won at least a cup by now, but we don't have it on a record. But a lot of guys were pretty good on this roster, I'd say, this playoff run. Mackinnon and Crane were over point per game. Everybody else was below point per game, so maybe we could have used a bit more offense. But I'd say it was okay for the most part. From a defensive standpoint, Houghton had 9 points. Maybe a bit more out of Oldie would have been better. But, yeah. Damn. Maybe I should have had Carlton in the last game. I don't know. Fisher was pretty good in that last game that we watched, though. And the goalies, Solovyov, a 915 save percentage. Like, Solovyov did some good stuff, had some bad games, but damn, man. That's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate that we could not find a way to win that game and didn't get that to a Game 7. Because if we got that to a Game 7, I feel like we could have won on home ice. I just feel like we could have. So, there's that. Let's find out who ends up winning the Stanley Cup in 2041. Watch it be the Blackhawks after they came back from 3-0 or something like that. Let's see. The answer is Chicago. And Rockford wins the AHL, so congrats to Chicago and their organization. They won both Calder Cups and Stanley Cups in the same season. But Chicago winning the Stanley Cup over the Leafs, so we didn't even lose to the best team in the NHL. But Chicago ends up winning that series in 6 games. It would have been nice to face Chicago because I'm pretty sure we just gave Chicago a Stanley Cup with some of the trades we made over the last few years as well. Because we gave them some pretty good players via trade. And, yeah, they end up winning the Stanley Cup. Because now, if we look at their cup-winning roster, there's their goaltending. I mean, a 937 save percentage from this Parrish guy is insane. But aside from that, former players that are there, Matty Haken just won a Stanley Cup at the age of 20 after he was with us a season ago. Oh, man. So wins a Stanley Cup in his second NHL year. Maybe we should have held on to Hagen a little bit longer. And then Novoseltsev wins the Stanley Cup as well this season after leaving us. Maybe I should have held on to Novoseltsev instead of Schaefer. I honestly don't even know, man. Like, I'm happy for those guys to win the Stanley Cup. Don't get me wrong, but it just sucks that they didn't win with us, and now they win in Chicago. Seems like everybody has better success after they leave this organization. Like, we're still dealing from Lou Lamoriello. I thought there was more players on this roster that used to play with us. Maybe not. Maybe not. All right, well, let's take a look at some awards anyways. Wrap up this season. So Chicago wins the Stanley Cup. President's Trophy going to Vegas, and in Chicago and Toronto Stanley Cup Finals. Chicago was also in the Cup Finals in 2037, though, so they've been good as of late. Same with LA. But we've not been in a single Stanley Cup Finals in the last 5+ years now. Individual awards, Guerin wins Art Ross, not a surprise, and the Hart. Houghton wins another Norris. Houghton's insane, though, at least, so that's one thing that I've been really happy with in the series, is having a good offensive defenseman. Bedard wins the Lady Byng. Conklin won the Calder for the Nashville Predators. Connor Bedard to Conn Smythe. Legwand wins the Vezina for Vegas. He also wins the Jennings. Dickinson wins the Masterton for Tampa Bay. Philadelphia's head coach to Jack Adams. Colorado's coach, or not coach, what am I saying, to Selke, going to Kuhlman. Guerin wins the Lindsay. Guerin wins the Richard, so Guerin just cleaned up on awards, basically. And that's pretty much that. Oh, shout out to Ola Carlson, best guy in his community, and basically involvement in his community. All right. But that sucks, man. That really sucks. At least, like I said, Houghton's been winning a lot of individual awards, but we have nothing else to show for it, basically. Our runs. Like, Houghton is now up to 5 Norris trophies at this point in his career. He's so fantastic, but he has not found a way to win a Stanley Cup yet, which kind of sucks. And he was drafted by Chicago, too, so it would have been interesting to play them in the Stanley Cup Finals, but no. Damn. All right, final few things we got to do is wrap up the rest of this, find out the draft lottery results, all that stuff, find out what we might draft in next episode, the progress reports. But, yeah, that's another disappointing season for this Islanders team, and we now head to basically one of the last seasons of this franchise mode in the next few episodes, which kind of sucks. So Buffalo wins the first overall pick, followed by Carolina, Vancouver, Edmonton, and Winnipeg. All right. So there is that. Damn, man. View retired players. So the retired players for the season, Jack Hughes is the big one. Nick Suzuki, Wyatt Johnson, Cutter Gauthier, stuff like that. Who's the best defenseman that retired? It's not really that much good defenders, I guess. David Reinbacher. David Reinbacher. So nobody crazy in terms of retirements, really, I guess. Goalies. Carter George retires. Some guy named Bobolev. All right. Man, this is disappointing as hell. Like I said, this team should have won a Stanley Cup at least by now. If we already had one Stanley Cup, I wouldn't be too pissed off, but damn. We do lose 2 coaches as well. We lose Roman Hansel and Cyrus Weber, which I think Cyrus Weber was one of the assistant coaches I brought in to basically give us a better team. And in Hansel, I can't remember who he was, if he was a goalie coach or not, but it sucks, man. All right, let's do a final few wrap-ups. Let's take a look at the progress reports and all of that type of stuff. But, So it looks like we're getting some statistical growth, which is good, but also means guys like Bigger are second-line forwards, and it's going to be hard to find ice time on this roster for a lot of these dudes. We might have to make some sort of a change in terms of trades and all that, but we have a lot of guys listed as like top-end players. Like if we look at our forwards, for instance, here, like all these guys are first-line forwards, these 6 guys. A lot of them guys have clauses. We have a couple second-liners, couple third-liners, and then we have some depth forwards. So it's not the worst, I guess. Defensively, we have 2 top 2s. We have 3 top 4s, with Carlton included. So does somebody on that top 4 get moved out? And then we have our top 6 defensive pairing. Goalies starting in a backup, so that's not too bad. But Komatov is ready to take that backup job next season, so there's likely a chance that Menard's gone. So Komatov will take over. We do have some guys that might be ready for a defensive course soon, like Erzberg, Carlson, not Carlton. Now, offensively, Ulnov is technically a fourth liner. I don't even know if he should be on our team anymore at this point. Savage is a fourth line guy. Bartley is pretty much a depth forward. He's already 29. He's probably gone. A couple other guys are close, like Nielsen, for instance. Centers, pretty much that. I think there was somebody in the HL that was really close, though, right? Maybe not. Oh, no, it was an unsigned prospect, I think. Right? Wasn't there an unsigned prospect that was really good? I feel like there was. What was his name? He was a sniper, right? Who am I looking for? Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't remember who I was thinking of. Alright, so there is that. Let's take a look at the contract situation and the draft class, but yikes. Like, we have a lot of cap space, so we could definitely still make moves, but we have some pretty big contracts to dish out this offseason, especially in the RFA department. So we have Schaefer to deal with, which Schaefer, I like Schaefer a lot, but he wants like 4 years at like $9 million bucks, probably something like that. So he might cost us a bit. There's also Ragnarsson, who wants probably a long-term deal. He wants a long-term deal. I might honestly be willing to give him it, but he hasn't been good in the playoffs, technically, for the most part. But he's still a good, useful player. But are we prepared to give him a 7-year deal at like 10 million bucks? Maybe. Maybe. So there's an option on that. Biggers is another RFA. He wants only like just 4 million, which is not too bad. Holmstrom should be relatively cheap. We could always qualify some of those guys if we want. But Korolyuk being a pending UFA, I think he's gone because I can't use him really as a fourth-line center anymore. Unless I want to use him as a third-line center and basically trade away Leahy instead, which could be an option. Oh my goodness. Esh is pretty much ready to go for the AHL. Let's get the C. Goalies, yeah, I don't know if there's a way I could bring back Menardwin. Komatov is pretty much ready, so we probably will lose some pieces in the offseason. The good thing is we have a lot of leeway with a lot of guys being RFAs still, but I think Biggers and Schaefer are both UFAs if they only get a 1-year deal, so we either got to sign them long-term or only sign them for a year. So that's going to be interesting to see what we do with that, but man. Final thing, let's take a look at the draft class. I think we have multiple firsts this year, right? Yeah, we do. Oh, yeah, that's right. We traded to Chicago, got a first from Chicago. So we literally have 29 and 32. We also have 2 second-rounders, 2 third-rounders, and then no 4 or 5, but we have a 6 and a 7. So 2 picks in the first 3 rounds, which is good. We could try and move up if we really want to, but 29 to 32 at least in round 1. So let's see what's supposed to go around that point. Or maybe, like I said, we could try and move up too if there's anything worth trading up for. 29 to 32. So probably just some generic top 6 forwards, right? And top 4 defenders, I'm assuming. Seems like that for the most part. Oh, there's a low lead. I forgot about this dude that I had pinned. Christian McMillan. I'll pin him. Or have him pinned. Sakic, is he low elite? Tough to say. I don't feel like this draft class looks very good right now as well. Rogalski, is he an elite player? Tough to say. What about sorting by potential? Any steals? Medium only goalie, that's supposed to go 140th. I don't think like we need more goalie prospects, but might as well pin him for the potential. What about low elites? There is also another low elite power forward, Neil Terry. I'll pin him. But yeah, this draft class does not look worth moving up, to be honest, much in. So I don't really think we're going to get much good prospects. And we might have to try and still maintain our roster as much as possible again in the offseason. But I don't know how much money we're going to have to spend to re-sign all these guys. But the money's going to be still pretty tight, I think, going forward. So we might want to offload somebody. We might want to get somebody to waive their no movement clause. But I don't know if any of those guys would. So, and Tatar's also going into the last year of his contract too this coming season before he's a UFA. So there's some moving parts for sure with this roster. Also, Solovyov is going into the last year of his deal before he becomes a UFA too. So, yep, there's a lot of interesting stuff with this team. I think I've just built too good of a team during the regular season that they don't succeed in the playoffs, something like that. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of New York Islanders franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to the draft and re-sign stage as we look to basically maintain our roster, maybe make some big changes though too, possibly, because still no Stanley Cup after 4 straight conference finals appearances. We definitely got to find a way to be better in the playoffs, and I don't really know what we need to do to make ourselves a cup contender. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.